Goodness gracious. Okay.
Never seen that before.
Right on schedule. We'll do it live. F it. That's how I feel right now.
There's no words there.
Alright. So hopefully you were able to.
Everything sucks.
Seriously. I'm gonna pull a freaking Bill O'Reilly or live on air.
Everything does suck.
It really does. But hopefully you're able to find this live stream. I saw Mountain Warriors was in there.
Check it out.
Yeah, me and DJ. No, hopefully Mountain Warrior is able to find his way back into this live stream. Hopefully we are live and everything is okay here because we've gone live so many times. Looks like we're live. Looks like everything's operating right. So this is going to be the Smile 2 spoilers discussion. We saw this movie about what was that? It was Thursday. So it was like 4 or 5 days ago. So and we both really liked this movie. Still think it's up there with The Last Smile.
Yeah.
Excellent horror movie, probably best one of the year. But there is a lot of spoilers in this movie that I wanted to talk about. We wanted to talk about a lot of things to break down. Because we really couldn't talk about anything in the non-spoiler. So we were hoping to get into all those spoilers today and watch this back. Obviously, we're going to be breaking this movie down, going into all our theories, spoilers. So I know we have a lot of things to talk about. We just want to kind of like go through the movie.
That's what I was going to do. Is I typed it out in order of what I think is the movie. A couple things might be out of order, but I basically did a pretty good job, I think, of getting the right stuff in order. So
Jake's the moderator.
So I'll start out, and then as I bring stuff up, you can chime in or say we talk about stuff or just keep going. But just a quick reminder, you said we both liked it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think you gave it a 9 out of 10 as well. Yeah. And in some ways, it was better than the first one. And I know I gave the first one a 10 out of 10. But because it was the second one, it has bigger expectations in a way because the first one was so good. So it's kind of weird to say this one's better.
The first one was
more score. So yeah. So and again, the ending had a big deal to do with that. So as you'll hear in this discussion. But basically, this movie starts out. Well, actually, before we get to this, we were at a fan event, and we got a nice little slideshow PowerPoint deal for which showed some like pictures I've not seen before, almost like behind the scenes footage of them filming. Some trailer shots. The music was great. There was a countdown. I love just the poster itself, a smile on the screen. The countdown clock definitely gave some anticipation, some more build-up. Yeah, and I wish that we were saying let's not show any spoilers. They didn't really show any. They showed just trailer shots from what I saw. There's a couple maybe new shots.
Well, that's what I was concerned about. We're sitting there in the theater, and I'm seeing footage. And I've stayed away from everything, basically. I saw that first trailer. Other than that, I stayed away from everything else. So I'm thinking, I'm here in the theater, nothing can spoil it now.
Yeah.
But then they started showing stuff, and I got concerned, but they didn't show anything.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really cool feature, and then it just gets right into it. I almost thought they weren't going to show trailers at all, because it was the first showing of the day. It was a 5 o'clock showing in a fan event, but there still were some trailers. Not that many, so that was a cool feature at the beginning. I wish we got a poster, a t-shirt, or something else on top of that. But let us know in the comments if anyone's watching this and you have a fan event too and you got stuff. Let us know. I feel like we were missing out on a couple things for that. It was called a fan event. We did get that, but not much more.
Wouldn't leave behind that theater to screw us out of it.
Yeah, our theater's getting better. I mean, the full menu's back, which is cool to order from. But anyways, this movie starts out 6 days later from the previous film after Joel has been infected by the curse or demon. And it's basically a really cool opening. It's almost like a fan service scene. It was a big talking point that fans were talking about was, hey, if you have this curse, you kill someone bad in front of someone bad, and that's how you get rid of it. But this shows really real fast like how that plan is great in theory, but when you're actually doing it, you're putting yourself in a very dangerous situation. This opening scene, it's not an easy situation, but this scene just does a perfect job of making you feel the anxiety and the stress that Joel must be feeling. So yeah, basically, I don't want to walk it through the beginning, but like he gets out of his car, puts the mask on. You see a vision. Kenny mentioned this after the film. I almost forgot this. He sees a vision of Rose burning, and that was a really cool feature because you kind of get put in his shoes. That's all you see as far as visions go in that scene. At least unless I missed a couple, but basically, he's able to withstand that and continue his goal of getting rid of this demon.
That's the theory.
The theory. Well, it seems like he's getting rid of. Or it seems like he's ignoring and fighting enough. So he gets in there, he holds this huge guy hostage, puts him in front of. They're both drug dealers, and not just drug dealers. They've also just killed somebody the week before, so they're really bad people. He goes in front of him, and then basically stabs him in the neck, stabs him in the stomach, and cuts open his chest. Because again, it's not just a matter of killing someone. You have to do it in a traumatic way, I think. Maybe it is just killing someone.
It is the trauma.
But I think it is a trauma. But the problem is when he does this, the guy on the couch, which is like basically the drug dealing boss, takes a shot at him, and there's a little bit of a shootout for a second. And Joel accidentally shoots him, killing him, and he's like panicking. There's blood coming out of the guy's chest. It's a very gory opening scene, which really sets the tone. And this is a really frantic situation. He turns around, really upset, thinking he just totally effed up this plan. And there's a person, another person in the room named Lewis, who is a important character at the beginning of this movie. And he's all excited. He's about to leave the house. Then more drug dealers show up, and they chase him around. It's all one shot, which is done really well, almost like a Conjuring James Wan-like look. And he's panicking, trying to get to another room. He gets outside, and as you see in the trailer, he gets run over by a truck or a car in a really gruesome way. It's a cool shot as far as the smile on the road, but you see like his body's in half, his guts. It is and the music. It's definitely a very phenomenally shot and executed, well executed opening to this movie.
Yeah, the opening of this movie is crazy. Like you mentioned about it definitely sets you right into the action right away. And this is a horror movie, so for a horror movie to have this good of a kind of action scene was totally surprising. But yeah, our theory about he sees I assume it's Rose burning because you don't really see for sure the face. I mean, I don't think who else it could be. She literally just burned.
Yeah.
So my only theory about that is, I mean, he's not.
It worked.
There's got to be a way, and this kind of gets to our theory of how to fix this. Maybe we'll get into later. But there's got to be a way to ignore the stuff because if he sees her burning there, but then he keeps going, that's got to mean something about he's been able to block it out.
Yeah.
Now he knows it's still inevitable; it's going to happen eventually. But him seeing that and then continuing to walk, that's got to be something and the director needs to confirm that. But yeah, when he actually goes in and kills the guys, yeah, it is kind of I guess a combination between if you kill someone else, it'll transfer, but then it's usually the trauma. But I was kind of explaining if the person wasn't traumatized, I don't know what would happen in that situation.
I think traumatized is important, but I really think it is just a matter of if they see someone get killed, because I mean, you're going to get traumatized no matter what from that, unless you're just a soulless person. You're going to get traumatized from that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if you found some just effed up emotional
That's true.
person?
But the thing is like, I think that the plan 100% worked. It definitely transferred over to Lewis, because the only thing you can argue is if Lewis looked outside the car accident, but I don't think he did. He saw what happened inside the house. And there was also something interesting with that. They showed the car and the stream of blood from the body of Joel. And it's just like a smile, but then it cuts all of a sudden. It's like upside down. So I don't know what that was all about. I don't know. It's just
Wait, what part?
when they were zooming out and they showed the car crash with Joel's body cut in half and like the smile, but then there was like it went black and white. It was upside down. I don't know if that was like resembling an upside down smile or I don't know what that was.
But that was the thing I'll say about that is when Joel gets hit by the car. First of all, I remember seeing that from the trailer, but I did not know. I did not connect those till after it happened.
Yeah, me either.
Because I did not think that was Joel getting hit by the car. And when it was, I had a lot of emotions. Like, wow, he actually beat it. I thought he was going to get shot. Then by the time I realized that was the trailer shot, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
He just died there. But then there's another aspect of me that I knew he wasn't the main character. So it didn't really shock me. But I was actually kind of hoping in another point that he would still survive for another movie. But the fact that they kill him, really.
You definitely want him to be alive. And as soon as I saw Joel in the car in that setting, I'm like, shoot, this is when someone gets run over. Is it really going to be him? So that was kind of frustrating to know that was inevitably about to happen. But yeah, the character of Joel has a lot of backstory from the first film. He has a lot of reasons to know how to combat this thing. He was working with Rose. He knows a lot of back information about this curse or demon. And to have him get killed off like that is really frustrating because as the viewer, you're like, dang, this is one of our best hopes of fighting back. Now, granted, you do meet someone else in this film we'll talk about later in Morris. Potentially, maybe. But yeah, Joel getting killed early on is, a lot of people had a problem with that, and I understand that. I mean, I knew he wasn't the lead, but he's an integral character in this universe, because unfortunately the main leads in these movies so far don't necessarily make it too long. So
No.
to have someone know how to combat it would have been amazing, and it would have showed that there's a feasible chance of defeating this thing. Which is why I was really cool to see him actually overcome it, transfer it over to somebody else. And if there wasn't those guys coming back to the house, drug house, he would have got out of there. Which is crazy to think. He would have actually beaten it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have beaten it, but he would have avoided it and had to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do we go next?
We have one person in the comments. Anthony Blake said, "Vampire like to do." So I don't know what that means, but glad to see you in here. So you want to go to
So then
next
it's
scene?
yeah. There's a couple of things here when I was typing this out where I think I got a couple scenes overlapped, but I think I did a decent job of getting it all in order.
To the main scene.
The next scene, it cuts after that to Sky Riley, our main character, who was shown at a live show doing an interview, and it's revealed that she is currently getting over a traumatic event, which is a car accident that's a major plot point in this movie with her boyfriend, celebrity boyfriend, who dies in that crash, and she broke her leg, injured her stomach and back, I believe, from that crash. They didn't really. I'm assuming that's how she hurt her back and stomach. There's a scar on her stomach. And then as she's doing the interview, it cuts to her crying in the car. Which this sound of her crying and shot of her crying is played a lot in this movie, and it's definitely a traumatic thing in her mind because the demon uses it to a million different times. It's even in the freaking credits. This crying, which is crazy, because you hear her crying. At that point you don't want to hear her crying. So
I mean, at that point,
brutal.
you're just like the movie's already freaking
That's why.
depressing enough.
That's why I hate this demon so much because you already got what you need to do. You don't need to hear her crying anymore. Like just take your victory and get the F out of
This
here.
movie's really just trying to like disturb you as much as possible.
Yeah, it was really disturbing because again, you care for this character. So I think it's Naomi Scott. Is that who plays Sky Riley? I think whoever it is did a great job playing her character. You believe her, you feel for her, you feel horrible for her as the movie goes along. You want her to overcome everything that's going on. So phenomenal job acting, playing this role of just losing your mind and being a human. She did a great job with it. But basically, it shows a lot of her crying in the car right after with her pulling her hair out. Which is again, I have a big problem with hair. So like the Pennywise stuff with Beverly and the hair bothers me. But every time she pulled a little bit of hair out, even when it's like not a gruesome thing, you can ask Kenny. I looked away. I couldn't stand that stuff. So her pulling hair out, because she had long black hair, whatever color it was, in the crash, and she has this new look, as they say in that interview. And then basically after that, it cuts to her.
Sector 3.
Yeah, it shows her basically go to her two assistants. One's her mom, and then this other guy. I forget his name. But basically, the one thing I noticed with them is like they're overwhelming her with schedules, being a celebrity. The mom is treating her like an object, not like her daughter throughout, which the demon uses to his advantage. And that's kind of setting the tone for more trauma she's going through, which is super frustrating, especially the mom. She really annoyed me throughout. And she attempts to take drugs in the bathroom and drops it down the sink. And then they're driving her home, telling her to go straight to bed again, treating her like an item, not as like a person. She sneaks out, and that's when she's texting Lewis, who is the person in the house who got the latest infection from this curse and demon. She gets there, and as you see in the trailer, as soon as she went in the house, I'm like, is this going to happen right now? I appreciate that, though. The stuff from the trailer is basically shown in the first 15, 20 minutes of this movie, which is kind of cool. Because I'm like, dang, that means there's a lot of stuff we haven't seen yet.
A lot of it wasn't in the trailers.
Yeah.
I only watched the first one, though.
Right. So it's really
I don't know if
cool.
It was in second or
You
third.
get in there, and there was some funny lines. Lewis is like, "There's been some freaky crap this last week, some smiling stuff," and you as the viewer know what's going on. He leaves the room, and then that scene where he smashes his face with the weight plates it's crazy because I wrote this down. It was done so much more brutally and more gruesome than I expected. Like I knew it was about to happen, but I didn't expect him to smash his face 4 times. I was coach earlier, but like 4 or 5 times.
3 or 4.
And the special effects were phenomenal. As I said, this movie was there's nothing cheap about it.
But
It was so
Before that scene, though, when they kind of the scene where he's flipping out, but he's also a freaking like drug guy.
yeah.
So you kind of throw into question. He doesn't really know what's real and what's
Sure,
he's
right.
not just freaking losing his
He's
mind
high
on
or
drugs
something.
because he's on so many drugs. So that kind of I guess kept him a little bit more. I mean, he was already going.
Well, that's the thing. No,
He thinks maybe
yeah.
it's just because he's doing fake
Exactly,
drugs.
and that's where drugs are as a major theme in this movie, where the people around him just attribute everything to the drugs, which the demon uses to his advantage as well, tricking them and making that has to be so infuriating to know that this is all real to you. But to everybody else, like Sky Riley was addicted to drugs, as they say on the news channel, and like just from what her past was before the crash. And she walks into Lewis's apartment. There's like stuff. I don't really guess, but really bad stuff on the table. He was snorting. He's really snorting when he walks in. So basically, in her mind, she's like, this guy is like he's just on too much stuff. He's really messed up. But then it doesn't really become reality till she comes back in. He comes back in.
Faceplate, the plate.
Yeah,
the weight.
Faceplate and. Or sorry, what is that?
I mean, weight plate. What happened?
And but it's crazy because like the sound of his skin coming out of his face is just disgusting and just brutal. It's amazing how realistic they made that look. I don't know how they shot that stuff, but really well done. It's also well done too from her perspective. It looks like he's choking, which is the demon. It makes you think. It's the same thing in all of the scenes in the first one. You want to know from their perspective, what are they seeing? Because usually before he reveals himself,
they're seeing.
He's seeing something before that though. I want to
That's
know.
True.
Was he seeing the drug dealer and then he like came out of him? Because so far every time he's gonna take somebody, he makes a big deal about it. He's not just gonna just walk in there in normal form.
Well, that's true because in the first one,
he was the mom.
She sees, but the mom turns into some
10-foot
tall creature.
The mom.
But this one, she doesn't turn into anything now.
At the end,
she just is like herself.
No,
I guess he was just taking it to another level there than how.
Actually, on the stage.
Yeah, the stage. She was just herself.
Yeah, but before that though, she saw her car accident stuff with some messed up eyes, really freaky crap that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, but she wasn't. I mean, I guess maybe
at that point,
sometimes.
I mean, at that point,
sometimes he turns into a 10-foot tall old creature.
At that point, I think he just overdid himself. He's like, I've done so much crap. Like it's time to just check into this because he literally put together a whole film at the end there with this fake.
You know, he done enough work. He's like,
enough work.
Yeah, he's pretty lazy at that point.
Which I don't want to.
I'm not doing anything extra now. Let's just get this over with.
I really don't want to jump too far around, but just because you mentioned that final scene, it is really cool, and I've read about this. Well, it's just a quick minor. It's not about the ending. It's more about how the smile demon literally is attached to you, and it hears and knows everything about you. Because when she walks out of that thing, and also the fake version of herself, she's wearing the outfit that she says she doesn't want to wear. So it's like it hears every little thing. And that is really scary to think that like even when you think that it's not messing with you, it's there listening to every little line. Because even in the first one, when Rose, the boyfriend who's real, makes a bad comment when he leaves her, you hear little comments like that where they bring it up, just showing that there is not a single second of your life or moments of when after you get infected by this thing that's not being watched or listened to, which is just really messed up. And that's where you get into the overpowered element of this thing. But we'll get more of that in the end.
But the weight plate.
But yeah, the weight plate was definitely messed up, and then she sees that. She's already had a lot of trauma, and she's sitting there, she throws up. She's about to call the police, but she doesn't because she's like, they're gonna think that she did this, and it's gonna ruin her career, which is still bad. But like, she gets out of there.
Well, yeah, I'm really talking about
that's where
the plate scene because the plate scene was definitely crazy, and our theater. The bass in our theater was insane.
The speakers were right above us.
So yeah, that scene. I mean, each time he hit his face, it was just so loud.
Yeah, and you hear that sound.
I remember seeing that from the trailer, and I remember thinking like
they didn't show crap.
I didn't really know what was going to happen. Well, I knew he was going to freaking kill. He was going to. Well, we have to watch what we say. I'm going to get taken off YouTube. We knew he was going to delete himself there, and
it's kind of not talking about it as a major.
I know we have to though because that's something on YouTube. I just know they're taking people off. But we'll just try not to say it. I don't know what the rules are anymore. But yeah, the bass in the theater, every time he hit his face with a freaking plate was just insane. And I was just every time the third or fourth hit, I had to look away. It was just that bad. But then, like you said, his face falling apart. They used that later. They used his messed up face in a lot of scary scenes.
And they use the sound of the skin falling off too with some scenes after that. Because it seems like this even attaches to showing the last person that's died as like the main thing to mess with the person, unless they have more trauma and they can use whatever they want with it, like the Sky Riley character. But this is where I got a little bit choppy, I think, with what I thought after. Like I get back in order in a second, but the next scenes involve her at photo shoots where she does mention that she doesn't like one certain dress, which comes back full circle at the end when she's wearing that again because it shows her scar on her stomach. And they're practicing dance choreography for a video, which music video or live performance, and it also shows how hurt her back is. It's just to stop a routine or practice, and just once again reiterating that she has back pain, and just being self-conscious about the scar on her stomach. And there's also a couple jump scares of her seeing Lewis in the mirror, which I know you didn't see that. I saw it in a freaking trailer. So as soon as I saw the trailer, I was hoping for something more from that scene,
Well,
but
before she sees him in the room, right?
yeah,
She sees him in the room.
And she sees him in the room,
She's
and then she
sleeping
sees
and-
yeah.
Yeah, that was a
wait,
really scary scene. She was.
I might have forgot that scene. I was trying to think
hear
of
the
my mom.
skin falling off, and then he's standing there in the room.
Is he?
Yeah.
Where?
He's literally right in the middle of the room. Like she looks. It's dark in the room. She hears the skin fall off.
Okay.
She looks up and you see a shadow there.
I forgot
She
that
turns the
one.
lights on. He's gone.
Okay.
But that was a pretty. That scene was pretty freaky.
Yeah, I forgot that one, but I knew I forgot one bad scene. I think it was probably right
I mean,
after
I wasn't
the first
looking
scene.
at certain parts of this movie, so that's one I was looking for.
But
But-
unfortunately, with the mirror scene, is it's super scary that she turns around and he's not there. Then the mirror is standing right behind her. I was hoping there'd be a bigger reveal or scary moment there, because then he just like he puts her, he makes her smile. And this is actually where it gets into one of my points I put down here was.
Oh, the mirror scene.
Well, after the mirror scene, the mom and her assistant comes in, and she says, "We've been knocking for like 5 minutes." This is what starts to get into my complaints a little bit and just questions: is how can you tell when this thing changes reality when they're not sleeping? It's one thing if a character's asleep, then they can mess with the dream and like not know if they're awake or not. But if she's just in that room, as far as we know, she's just in the room normally sitting there. So for them to be knocking on the door and not hear them knocking. It's like, how can it just alter reality that much to where you can't hear real stuff going on? That's where you get into the limitations aspect of it. Like, how do you not know? And also, the concept of time, you don't know what's going on with time. You
That
she'll
was
turn around and be like, wait, you guys were knocking for the last 5 minutes? I didn't hear anything.
So that must get into how she starts figuring it out with like 3-4 days. So like, and then she ends up deleting herself on the stage. So that means that obviously the time she spent in that the abandoned house must have taken up 3 days, I guess, to get her to that point.
What do you mean? And
Like the way time goes, obviously enough time has to pass for it to take you. So obviously the time she spent in
What abandoned
that
house?
building,
at the end?
yeah, at the end, or even the drive, obviously that time is
Yeah,
a lot longer
I
than
have
it
some
seems.
questions about that when we get there. 'Cause that's
Obviously,
when the
like,
time
use of time,
aspect is.
Obviously that
yeah.
it accelerated at some point to
No,
where
it definitely no.
she tricked it enough time passed where she's suddenly on stage.
The timeline 100% is fast tracked, as we'll talk about later on, because this demon, I believe, found out that there was a major plan that was going to actually go against his scheme, his timelines. Usually, the timeline, from what we know from the previous film, this one is like about 6 days to a week, essentially.
Yeah.
But
that mirror
that
scene,
gets changed here. But the mirror scene was kind of cool, even though I saw the trailer.
yeah, that scene for me personally, I did not see that in the trailer
Yeah.
at all, and I didn't see the trailer that was in. So that the scare didn't really give me that much, but because I expected his face to pop up, but just to see him standing behind her,
that
they
was
really
creepy stuff.
they used that drug guy a lot in these scares, and that one was just like a creepy scene with him standing behind her.
And the thing,
It was such a long scene too. I kept waiting for him to
yeah.
turn around. She kept looking back in the mirror. She kept going back and forth, and I was like ready to like expecting a jump scare, and it kept going, and finally it happened.
Yeah, so after that, there's a lot of scenes where it goes back to the car crash situation. The first time they go back to it, the car's already been wrecked, and she's sitting there dangling, her legs broken in a really gruesome way. She's messed up, her mouth's bleeding, and she glances over to her left and sees her boyfriend with his head like gone, basically. He's like messed up, he's dead. And that's basically the first time you see it is that. And I think that's when I forget if it's just, I don't know if she's dreaming at that point, but they go back to that situation and just the aftermath of it. And there's also a scene later on, I'll kind of jump into that too, where it gives the full scene entirely of her driving. No, so the boyfriend's driving the car, she's in the passenger seat, they're arguing, they're both snorting crap, they're clearly not in the right mind space at all. They're yelling at each other, he's making fun of her crying, and then she, as they show, takes the steering wheel and causes the wreck essentially, even though he's already driving like a maniac. But she does cause the wreck. They pull off, and you see that. So that just adds a whole other layer to the car crash. The fact that she probably feels responsible for it.
Well, exactly. Well, and that's, I mean, and she definitely, she grabbed the steering wheel.
She's a big problem. They were both on drugs. So it's
And
like,
she literally grabbed the steering wheel. But that was
he
the
did
thing.
instigate crime.
That was totally a 180 though, because at first I was like, man, this character cannot catch a break. Like, she got in a car accident. She's getting all this stress from the freaking tour. She's got all this annoying crap going on. She's got crazy fans going to her. But then once you see it's her fault, that changed everything for me because you're like, oh man, it was actually her fault for the car crash. So you still feel bad for her as a human being,
100%.
but she's doing drugs on a windy road, grabbing the steering wheel. You're like, okay, well, you brought that on yourself. I mean, so that totally changed my mind in that aspect.
They were
You still care-
both being idiots.
You still care for the character, but Jake, she grabbed the steering wheel.
Yeah, I know, but
He
he
swerved
was
off the
being
road.
I know. They're both being stupid. I mean, they're both. I mean, first of all, before that even
Yeah,
happened,
they are both.
I
being
thought
stupid, but she,
I thought he was just gonna just swerve in front of a car. 'Cause it looked like he was like swerving through lanes, and like he was driving way too fast. It was almost like the Doctor Strange scene when they're driving just out of control. But he wasn't on freaking drugs. He was
yeah,
just
they're both
being
intoxicated. They're both stupid.
But
Well,
obviously,
it's her
but in her
causing the
mind,
crash.
she definitely caused the majority of the crash for sure.
In her mind.
Yeah.
Jake, how did she not
Yes,
cause
it
this crash?
Like I said,
She literally grabs the
He-
steering wheel
he-
and
he-
swerves it.
it's almost like the second series. Like he almost instigated that reaction out of her by
Okay,
just
no.
being a total
Yeah,
jerk.
they were both idiots. They were both intoxicated. They're both on drugs, but she obviously
It
caused
was only a
so,
reaction to what she
yeah, it was
caused
reaction. How
her.
about the car crash? Reaction?
That was definitely a reaction.
Okay,
Definitely.
whether or not it was reactionary is irrelevant, but that totally changed. I mean, you still feel bad for the character, but if it would have been like an accidental thing, I would have been even more peed off with this movie because I would have been like, oh my god. 'Cause that's a disturbing scene.
Oh, it's really disturbing.
They
for
go
sure.
back to it a
Like
bunch.
I said, it was really well acted. There's not a single bad actor in this movie. I mean, the mom being annoying isn't necessarily bad acting. It's just being an annoying character. And that's what she's supposed to be.
And who knows how much of it's actually her being annoying, how much is actually.
I think she was real for the majority of it. But you're right. The psychiatric ward scene, she was not real. But then the next scene I put down was the meet and greet sequence, which again, being the celebrity was done well in this. You see how overwhelming that can be. The crowd constantly being around there, signing autographs, and I do have to call out these. I wrote down a note here. Terrible. Well, Jerry Maguire will not sell this, but I wrote down horrible security for Scott Riley in this meet and greet situation. This one guy, her like assistants, letting people through, and they can just put their hands on her and just like stand next to her. Which I've not been to many meet and greets, but you got to think there's got to be some kind of level of security
She's
where.
that famous.
Now there's kids, like I'm not gonna get there, but like this one guy who walks in who's clearly disturbed, whether or not he's being disturbed from this demon or if not, they just let him go up there. I could tell this guy was off.
I don't think that was from the demon.
This guy I think was actually just a creep, which is why the
Yeah.
demon uses him to his advantage after.
It's just another
But
unfortunate thing.
Even though he was smiling, this guy was just a mentally disturbed person, really messed up. He like puts his arm around her and says like a creepy line like I can make you happy or something like that, and she like shoves him away. The security drags him off, and you later get to see this character again, a really creepy, messed up scene. But then she goes back out to the mom's like, this is another scene where the mom's just not humanizing at all. Like she's like, can you go back out there? If my daughter had just had that moment, like, hey, let's just take a break. Like we're not doing this anymore. I'll stand here with you. But she's just a tool the entire time. She goes back out. The little girl sequence is done, and this scene. To me, you see it in the trailer, but it is creepier in the movie because she walks up there, she signs her shirt, but then there's like an angle from Sky Riley's eyes that shows this kid's face looking up at her, and I kept waiting for something like a jump scare, but they don't, which is kind of a cool scene where this is a moment where obviously everyone around her is not seeing her like this. I don't think because the mom is walking her away and she's just facing her, smiling, walking away. Now, do you think she's actually doing that, or do you think that's just her vision?
Yeah.
I think it's just her vision.
That's what I was thinking about the whole time. I was thinking like I feel bad for the girl because in real life she's probably like
Not doing
normal, and she's probably wondering why this person's staring
that.
at her.
Yeah,
And why is she acting weird? Because that was obviously the demon there.
yeah.
The one guy, I don't think so.
See,
but
that's
I
the
don't
thing.
really know. But I was thinking the whole time. I was like, I know. This is the one moment where I was thinking, what is everyone else seeing right now? Because obviously she had to be normal in real life.
Yeah,
But how much time is passing? I don't know. Is she even there for real? I don't know. Like nothing's ever
That's where
confirmed.
I wish we were in this world because I want to see the kids or the moms, whoever the little girl is in that scene. I want to see her photo from her camera to see what it looks like.
Wait, you know,
Then you can confirm like, oh look, she's totally normal here. But if
Yeah.
she's not, then like, dang, maybe this is like, 'cause that's where it breaks the fourth wall. Like usually if you don't have the curse, you don't see anything.
well,
So
yeah,
that's why I don't think she's doing that.
you know what I was just thinking too? I was thinking they never give you the view from outside of the Smile realm, but you actually do because I was just watching the Smile 1 scene where the girl's head flips around in the car.
Yeah.
Remember that scene? The girl's head flips down, and then you cut to a window shot of the kid in the house watching her freaking out just by herself in the car. So I think that's the only time you get a view.
But you can't control that as a viewer.
When I guess you get a view outside the Smile world when this girl sees the guy.
Yeah,
smash.
same with Rose in the beginning when that girl comes.
Yeah.
comes from the
So I
beginning.
guess you do get that angle a lot, but I still would have been interested. I think that would have helped the movie a lot
Yeah.
if you would have shown. I know, I guess it wouldn't, because the whole scene is her being creepy. So
Yeah.
maybe it wouldn't
that
have
was a
worked.
creepy scene.
But
And
we
it just-
needed to see that to see
Yeah,
what.
exactly. That's why if whoever took that picture, can I see that photo in real life to see if she's messed up smiling at her or if she's just a normal
That
person?
would have answered a lot, though.
I'm telling you, the photos on cameras
Because
in
it
this
doesn't show
movie.
up on camera, right?
No,
It
because
should.
well, that's what we're talking about in a second. When she films the closet, or when Lewis films the hotel or the apartment, if you don't see anything there, which I don't think you do,
I don't think you do.
which I'm gonna go back and see it again, make sure.
I looked.
But the fact that you don't see it, the camera will show if it's real or not. Like that's a huge
Yeah.
deal. So we got to figure out who that is. I know it's obviously a fictional world, but in this world, finding out that picture would say a lot. The picture of Morris that Sky Riley takes a picture of at the bar will say a lot.
The Smile Demon obviously has the technology figured out. You
Yeah.
can't be spoiled by it.
Yeah, I mean, because the only one that messed that up was Sinister. You see him, he effed up, or he purposely effed up and showed him the little
Space
hole.
in front of-
But
Oh yeah, no, he's always
I guess he's purposely doing it. He's not accidentally doing that. Or is he not?
he definitely did it on
Yeah.
purpose. Somebody's actually hanging out in the pool, like floating around. Maybe no, he's definitely filming on purpose.
Anyways, we'll talk about that. But anyways, after that, this is when she contemplates calling. After that, she contemplates calling Gemma about her apartment, who's basically her ex-best friend, who another area of trauma. She effed up that relationship by telling her off. You see her previous text. The last text she sent her was like, "F you, you messed up," like really mean stuff. And
They just fall out.
a major fallout, and she thinks about calling her. She does call her, leaves a message, and gets a call right back. And I believe that it is her calling her back, saying, "Yeah, hey, I can come by. Like it's been a while. Like you were a jerk to me before, but I'll come back and we can talk." And basically, she agrees to come. It's pretty dark now,
I mean, actually, hang on. I
but
wanted one color.
that's not that's a little better. But can I continue here?
Is that good?
It's a little dark.
Still dark?
Yeah, look at the screen. Can you read?
You can't see anything.
But anyways, she
You have to
thought.
see something.
Can I continue here?
You have to be able to see something.
You can see a
Yeah,
little
you
bit.
can see.
But basically, she talks to her, and Gemma says that she'll come over within the hour, or in an hour, one or the other. Like it's gonna be a little bit. And as soon as she hangs up, this is a very creepy sequence where you hear glass hit the floor, which that was a little confusing because I thought her water bottles were just like plastic bottles, but I guess they were really fancy water bottles
I
that
don't
were
think Scarface
glass.
drink that much water though.
Yeah, that was one thing that was a very minor plot point, but she learned from some like stress therapy that whenever she was she wanted to do drugs or she got the thought of it, she was supposed to just drink a lot of water and in her mind it was filling some sort of a void. And she does that a lot. She chugs water. Which, respect to her, I'm a major water drinker and I love the fact that she was doing that.
Yeah, but I've looked up. I've heard some stories. You can't drink too much water in a short amount of time, or else you can actually die. So
Okay,
I
well,
was kind of concerned about that though.
but I do like the message of drinking water. Maybe not that much water at once because I drink
We're
a lot
water
of water.
supporters.
I'm a huge water supporter. So it was cool to see the main character do that. Not many characters drink water. So respect to you guys out there that like to drink water. I'm a big water supporter. But after that, she walks over, sees the glass in the ground, and she goes to a closet. I kept waiting for something to jump out of the closet. She grabs some kind of a dust thing to pick it up. She gets back, and what she sees on the ground is the sweater or sweatshirt of the messed up guy from the meet and greet that says to Alfredo from Sky Riley, and she immediately is like, "Oh, holy crap! Like this guy's in my house. He followed me home," and she looks down the hallway, which is a super creepy hallway, by the way, and you see like his clothes, one item at a time, on the ground, like his socks, his shirt, his freaking effed up underwear with like crap stains on it.
Yeah, this looks
A little too much. And, look at he's a creepy character.
Very Text Mountain Warriors. Yeah. Anyway.
But after that, it leads down there. This is one of the creepiest shots in the movie, in my opinion, where it shows these silent scenes where you just see something and there's no jump scare quite yet. Is super scary to me. And you see him in the corner of the hallway in the back. He's already a creepy guy. I mean, he does a good job playing a creepy character, but he's naked on top of that. And she's like, "Holy F! Like this is really effed up.
It's like creepy with clothes on.
It's creepy with clothes on, but just being naked just adds another layer of disgusting to the scene. And now we've obviously seen worse with that naked freaking huge football player.
Other great battle versus battle.
But this guy is
no, the naked like mossy,
really, yeah,
naked mossy guy
just-
versus the naked fan.
just thinking of it is really effed up. But basically, she turns around and you hear his freaking feet hitting the ground, chasing after her. She gets to the door and it's Gemma. And in our mind, this has only been like a couple minutes. And she just said on the phone, "I'll be there in an hour." But then Gemma says, "I called you like an hour. It was like an hour ago." And this is again where it depends on what theory you choose to believe. I choose to believe that Gemma in this scene, in the beginning scenes, is real, and it really was but an hour. Because again, remember how before when she didn't hear him knocking for 5 minutes, time is altered when this smile demon does what it's doing. So I think it did alter time, and she got there in like 45 minutes to an hour. She walks in a funny scene where she picks up a glass vase, looking back where the naked guy was, and Gemma picks up like a vase as well, like pretending like getting ready to fight, which I thought was funny. And then eventually they find out that he's not there, and the glass is on the ground either. Like the bottle was never broken in the first place. So they sit down, they talk, they kind of rekindle their relationship a little bit as friends, and she says that she'll stay the night. They go to bed.
Can I discuss?
Yeah, you want to talk about that, and I'll get into that.
Can you just text me on Warrior to say just refresh your channel? Because I can't use my phone. Yeah. But yeah, the scene with the super fan in the house. I originally thought that was actually the drug guy from the beginning. I just saw some shadow there. I didn't really make the correlation of the T-shirt sign. I just thought it was. I don't even know. I just didn't connect those two. And then you see the person standing there, and it was a messed up scene. I thought they were about to go the lights out technique there, where she turns the light on, he's gone. Turns the light off, he's not there. But I guess that would have been kind of that would have been copying that movie too much. So I'm actually glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Even though it's in that kind of mirror hallway that we'll discuss later has a crazy scene in there. And potentially the end of the movie. But hopefully we get Metal Warriors back in.
Yeah, I was texting.
Okay. So, yeah, but that's pretty much that scene. I know the one character shows up that is a very frustrating point because you think the character's there, and I guess still at the end, I guess she's there. But by the end, so many things you don't know what's real or not that you start questioning all of these scenes because it's basically you don't really know if she's there. You don't know the time thing, you don't know who's actually there, what's real, what's not, whether she's actually talked to her or not. And so that is definitely very frustrating.
Yeah.
And I hope the director actually confirms whether that's real, whether she was there, and because that's every character she talks to, we need to know at least what's real and what's going to be figured out, what can continue for a sequel.
Yeah, a lot of what I have in here, again, I take the route of believing that Gemma is real in this sequence. Now, what I'm about to say in this next scene, when she goes to bed, they sleep in the same bed, they're just friends, and basically she wakes up after a nightmare again of the car crash situation or something like that, and she wakes up, and Gemma says, "Oh, like, you just have a nightmare," and then they talk for a second and have a wholesome moment where she's like opening up, saying that she's sorry for stuff. And it seems like she's making some mental ground, like overcoming some stuff. But then she says, like, "I'm a terrible person." And then Gemma says, "Yeah, you are a terrible person." She looks over, she's smiling. And this is done really well because
that's a crazy,
really creepy scene where I kept waiting for something to happen with her. But then you see the lights of the impending car at him, and that made me jump.
Her eyes and mouth are like the lights.
Oh, is that what happened? I thought it was just like...
Yeah, her eyes are the car headlights, and her mouth has light coming out of it too. And she literally, it's
really
like
unique.
The horn sound,
Really creepy. And then she wakes up again. I might have left something out of that night sequence, but there's important dialogue there of her talking about like what's been bothering her and stuff. But yeah, that was a very well executed jump scare.
I had a feeling. I knew something was gonna happen there, and I had a feeling she would start talking weird, and she did.
Her voice was the same though, which was interesting. Because sometimes the voice changes. It changes for the therapist in the first one, and it changes for the mom in the ward too.
See, you know what I think, and I'm just gonna make a small theory here. Joel has probably the best knowledge on anyone because he was literally with Rose the whole time, figuring stuff out, and basically gets an extra week to figure it out. And I think there's gotta be some way when you hear something out of the ordinary, you have to tell yourself, it's not right.
Right.
If you're with your best friend and she says something stupid like that, you have to know that's obviously not right. Like that's got to be the way to figure it out, right? I know she's still losing her mind here, but that's got to be the way that Joel figured it out. He sees a burning person, and he's like, okay, I know that already happened. So somehow you have to either be super just like stone cold, have no emotion, and not care about it, or you have to try to block it out.
Yeah.
Which I know it's gonna be hard to block it out when you see a freaking relative standing in the living room or something.
Right.
I mean, it's effed up.
But you have to.
But you have to
remember.
try, and I think that's the way to beat it.
Yeah.
You just have to avoid that stuff, and you have to. But I don't know how you still can tell what's real or not.
No, and that gets into what I want to say too. It goes back to the whole scene when she's getting like a 5-minute encounter. That's giving probably too much time with the naked, disgusting guy from the meet and greet. That whole sequence is 5 minutes in our eyes, 4 minutes in our eyes.
Yeah.
How can the demon alter reality when it's not? She's not sleeping. That's the only time that sleeping or taking drugs. Those are the two ways that reality could be adjusted from your mindset. Because in our minds, there's no way that the demon can just somehow block everything from existence. Now,
Well, he has to be able to.
but I know, but
Not everything.
but then that gets to the too overpowered. Like, there has to be some limitations to this stuff because
I think.
again, she's not asleep. It can't make time slow down or speed up that flipping
It's
fast.
kind of like Pennywise, but even though how does
You
Pennywise
can't do
do
that.
it?
You can't do timelines.
How does Pennywise do it? He just looks effed up, right? He
He
doesn't
looks
change
like
anything, does he?
Well, never mind. I guess he does. He does change stuff. That whole sequence with the giant guy and stuff like that. Obviously, no one else sees that.
Yeah, how did they get out of it? They just kind of run away.
You have to run away from it. Just get out of the zone.
It's kind of simple. We'll have to study that.
But again, I think it's. My opinion. This is my opinion. There has to be limitations to the timeline, to
Well,
the
there has
to
to
the altering reality, because
there
there
has
has
to
to be a
be
way. Because if that's the case, there's no way you can defeat it ever. Because
I
you
think
can
there is
you can
a way.
just change. Well, my point is, if you can alter reality that much, then you can't even like focus. Now, obviously, Joel from the beginning found a way to mess around and like stay focused and not let the visions affect him as much. But still,
That's the thing.
it is early on in the timeline for her that night.
That's just so frustrating. I'm pretty sure Joel figured it out. He at least figured
And
out.
now he's dead.
Well, he figured out how to avoid it, but I think he knew eventually. No, he knew either his options were to go where no one was and just lose his mind slowly,
Yeah.
or try to kill someone else to get them to get it. So I think he figured something out. That's the most frustrating thing is we could have had a movie where he was figuring it out, but now he's dead, so we won't. That's so frustrating.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Anyways,
she wakes up the next morning and
figure me out.
yeah, there's just a lot to cover here.
I know you gotta start going, dude. We're only on page 4.
No, we're almost done. Sort of.
Dude, we're a freaking poker point over here.
But I know I work here, I'm freaking putting effort in
Hey,
here.
we just
But,
gotta go a little faster.
and we're almost over here. But she wakes up, she's all on she's all like
Frazzled?
she's all frazzled off here because she's late to the dance rehearsal that she's supposed to be to. She's getting up all fast and the mom walks in all pissed off and she wakes up and she wakes up and Gemma says,
Yeah, she.
Wait, hold on,
Why did she
hold
wake
on,
her
hold on.
up?
Yeah,
Why did she
yeah,
wake
that's
her up?
right. And then she said, I didn't understand your schedule much. Let me see where I catch up here. Oh yeah, that's right. Sky Riley asks Gemma if she can join the tour, and Gemma says that she has a prior commitment with friends, and then if you don't take the theory I'm taking, this could be taken as a way that the demon was covering for itself or something, or
No.
or it could have been. Give me the
It
give me the
can't be.
side. Something else that could have been real. I think it was real. She actually had plans with friends, and she just received this call from Sky the night before.
No, I'm saying it can be, but I'm saying it can't be in the aspect of like if that's not real, then this
No,
whole
no.
movie was fake.
But then that makes no sense that the demon would make a stupid excuse like that.
Well, no, if it does that though, then yeah, there's just no freaking shot.
And then on top of that, like perfect imitations and everything from Gemma's personality or her voice, like this thing can just create whatever the F it wants without knowing any prior knowledge of the person.
It imitates people, yeah.
That is very advanced.
Well, knowing
This demon's never met Gemma. So how does he know what she looks like?
Yeah, so that's why the only things that he has from her should be from the stuff he observed
Yeah.
in that earlier part.
But then maybe he can tap into people's memories, and that's how he's able to get
Maybe.
Gemma. But I'm
It's
not
possible.
comfortable about
I mean, yeah, it has to be because
And then,
how would he have known Jay about Rose's past?
that. With the mom, that's true.
That's the only way.
She was dead, supposedly.
Yeah, she's been dead for a long time, and he somehow taps into that.
So again, I wrote this like 10 times saying, what are the limitations of the demon's abilities? But
and then Yoda weird.
Yoda was weird, isn't it?
Part 5.
And at some point, I think I might have left this out from the beginning a little bit, but at some point she starts receiving text messages from an unknown number.
Yeah, that's
And I tried to rewrite the text, I got them wrong a little bit. The first one was like, were you at Lewis's apartment last night? And then the next one says, I know this is Sky Riley, the famous singer, I believe. One question I had was, how did he get her number?
exactly. And again,
I think he walked in he said he went to his apartment after and got his phone, I think. That's the only way he got his number. Because how does this random guy get his number unless he's not real? Because I'm believing he's real. So I was trying to think to myself, like, how the heck would he get her number? But he did say he went into Lewis's apartment. I don't know why he did that, but he did.
He said he was observing him, right?
Yeah, okay, so that's how I got in there.
No.
So that makes sense.
He said, but wait, what did he say? He said he was following the chain, right?
Yeah.
Ever since his daughter, or was it his daughter, or was it his sister that did it?
His brother.
His brother.
Killed himself with deleted himself with what was it?
Crowbar.
Crowbar.
Yeah, so since that happened, he's been following the chain. Somehow, so what, he followed Joel? No.
He was just following from afar.
So he was watching Joel from afar?
Yeah.
Why didn't they do anything with Joel? See,
No.
Well,
Well, it was a problem, but because he said he finally wanted to have people stop dying, like because he was obviously down from losing his brother, and finally he jumped in. Of course, he should have jumped in immediately after, but he finally did.
Wait, hang on a second.
Because he knew all that. He said my brother's 8 people ago.
Maybe he caught back up because. Oh man, this might have just put a complete hole in my theory.
No,
He's real at all.
He is real, because he said he was 8 people ago. He's been tracking this.
Yeah, but then why did he not follow it to Rose and then to
He did.
Joel? Well, he never talked to Rose.
No, he never talked to him because he even says this.
He's still trying to catch back up.
No, he's like, I want to stop this thing. Like for a while, I was just like down and didn't care. But then he didn't want people to go through what he went through with losing his brother.
Okay, so
Yeah,
he
you have to
caught back
believe
up
that.
to it, but then
Yeah.
how would he have caught back up to? So he
was
observed the
following
Joel
Lewis.
thing.
Yeah, and he knew Lewis had it. She was tracking Lewis, and then he must have saw her walk into Lewis's apartment.
Yeah, but I just.
Then he walked in there and got his phone, and that's how he got his number. Got her number.
I understand that part.
And that's how he
But
got
if
his,
Joel
that's how
was
he got
figuring
Lewis's
out-
video too. Because he posted this last night. I don't know where he posted that video to, but
That's right. Okay, no, that I don't think he observed the Joel thing.
how he
There's
had
no
to.
way.
It's how would he know who Lewis is?
No, the only way he figured it out is he saw the video from the guy because
I think
Because
he's
he's-
tracking.
no. because if he was tracking Joel, then why did he not tell Joel and help him?
As I
out?
told you, he was being stupid. He finally said, "I'm finally going to set a stop to this." I'm not justifying. I wish he would have stepped in,
If
but he
that's
didn't.
true, I think there's a plot hole. But the only way it wouldn't be a plot hole is if he saw the video and he's like, "Oh, that's the same thing that my brother was saying." So then he decided to catch up. That's the only way. Because why would he have not helped Joel?
Okay, now you're just like that's such a complaint that you can't even like. There's no reason why he wouldn't help Joel. We wish he would have helped Joel.
No, because if he was wanting to help people,
he
he was wanting to
not
help
until
them.
Sky had it. He said that's when he decided.
it's when he saw the drug guy with it.
Sure, but
So he wants to help a drug guy. He doesn't want to help
okay,
him.
the point is that he clearly didn't because he I forget the line exactly, but he said something at the bar. He's like, I'm finally done with waiting and not helping people out. I want to help out now. He even said he was 8 people ago. He could have helped 7 people ago, 6 people ago, 5 people ago,
Yeah.
4 people ago, but he didn't. So
So
Joel to us is
don't
important.
make it sound like it's so obvious that, like, why he suddenly decided to help this drug guy when he saw it.
But you saying like why didn't he help Joel? Of course I have the same thought, but he didn't.
Yeah, well, that needs to be
And
explained.
there's no justifiable reason why, but
There can be though. Like what? Because if he would have helped Joel, he actually wanted to solve it, so he would have been better off. I think he didn't observe that, and he saw the video, and that's the way he found the
yeah, I
chain
mean,
again.
there could be a theory where he didn't see anything until the video from
'Cause I'm pretty sure that's what he
Lewis,
says.
but I don't know how the F he saw the video.
No, that in the bar, that's when he explains it. In the bar, he said he thought it was. He said something about how
Smiling
he was
crowd.
going to let it go, but until he saw this video, and I'm pretty sure that's when he.
And he says that his brother told him crap that he didn't believe.
Well, yeah, no, he's connecting the dots there, but once his brother got it, however it passed on after that, he didn't know. I think the next way he found it was through the video.
Yeah, and I'm just
And he
saying.
also let time pass for his brother that was
yeah,
traumatized.
I'm just saying like he he could have stepped in one person after his brother died, but he just didn't know until he was figuring out more information. So,
Well, no, but
so it's not so far fetched that he could have quite possibly been following Joel's stuff from like the outside looking in. Because how else would he have known that it was 8 people ago? How do you know that?
He wouldn't have. Why would you not have stepped in from Joel then, though?
No, my point is.
Gee, he was following the people. Why would you not
I'm
step
not
in?
justifying that, but how would he know that it was 8 people ago? His brother was 8 people ago. How does he know that?
I mean, he could search the crime reports at that point, and just like Joel did.
Yeah, but I don't know if he has access to the police.
Well, that's the only way.
reports.
Because I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how he knew about the 8 people, unless he looked back in the crime reports. Because he found the video, so. I
just believe that he was following. Like he was able to figure out it was 8 people ago.
Well, he obviously he found the drug guy, obviously, and then he had to have looked back.
Yeah, I mean,
what he did
both theories
at
can
that
be true.
point.
It just depends on. This is all theories. We don't know. We're having to
Well, I'm
connect
pretty
these
sure
dots.
in the
more
movie he
directly.
says he saw the video though,
No, he
and that's
He
how
did.
he found it again.
He saw the video,
Yeah.
but we also don't know if he was tracking stuff from the 8 people beyond. There's no way to prove or deny that.
Yeah,
So
but
it's a theory.
I mean, yeah, I just know he wasn't trying Joel.
He obviously wasn't trying to help Joel. I don't know why he didn't help Joel. I don't know why he didn't help Joel. I don't know why.
Jake, if he was tracking him and didn't help him, then why did he not help him? That doesn't make any sense.
He never sat down and talked with Joel.
So he didn't care, but he was tracking and he didn't help him.
There's no reason. There's no
Hey,
good
let's
reason
move on
why
to
he should have tried to help him, but he didn't. So I don't know what I'm gonna say. But
Yeah, so if he was carrying, he was tracking him, but he didn't help him. Okay, let's move on.
he didn't care. He was tracking.
Jake, how do you
didn't
not care if he was tracking him? He doesn't care.
You
if
can
he's
follow the
stalking
crap and
someone.
not freaking care about it.
You literally stalk
He
someone
was still
religiously
learning about
every
it.
day.
He was
you don't
still
care.
learning.
Jake, how do you not? You track someone
Yeah.
all day.
I'm not
you
bringing
don't care?
not Morris's agent here. I don't know what the F he's thinking, but I'm just trying to go off my theory of.
Alright,
he
let's
was
go. Let's
tracking
go.
it.
Let's
But
go
you
to
could also
page 5.
say that he saw the video and then he's like, "Holy crap, this person probably has what my brother had." But then that doesn't answer why he knew there was 8 people beyond. But he also was able to text Sky locations of where he was, which again, he probably only did this one time when he sent the location of the bar he was at to meet. Because after that, reality's all effed up after the dance mob scene in her apartment. But there is a scene, I can't confirm or deny this either. At the bar, when Sky sits down, supposedly behind Sky, it says on the wall, "You're effed," but it doesn't say effed, it says the real word. This would imply this isn't real, but once again, I'm believing that Morris is a real character, and this scene at the bar, he's real. Because again, he's just too authentic. I mean, obviously the demon can rewrite reality in some ways, but I'm tending to believe that Morris is real in this scene. Gives a really crazy idea, which I did not see coming. I had not thought of this as an idea. His idea is to stop her heart, basically kill her. He says, like, "You have to die to stop the curse." She's like, "What?" Clearly, and he's like, "Because I'd stop your heart, and then I guess after that I'll resuscitate you through something like that, and basically that would free you from the demon." But I even have questions about that, because I would just be like, once you wake up, wouldn't it still be there? But then you were saying before, maybe it just ceases to exist. And if that is true, that's fine. That's an okay strategy. But that's not a satisfying way to, as a viewer, as a movie-going viewer, that's not a satisfying way of taking this thing out. I want something way more just bombastic and to give this thing some kind of level of justice. Now, it would be justice if he's freaked out like he acts like at the end, when he thinks he's about to be non-existing anymore. But I don't know. It's definitely a cool theory. I never thought of it, but this sequence is definitely done well, because it's almost like, from what I was reading, once this scene ends and Sky Riley leaves the bar, she's essentially done. Like, her chances of surviving this are very slim. Like, she needed to commit to this plan and go then, but you can't blame her. It's a really insane plan. I mean, this is all hitting her within days of just seeing a lot of effed up crap, which has already been going through effed up crap in her life. So you can't blame her. But looking back, this was definitely the breaking point of chance to be survived, or chance to survive and be rescued, or just kind of fall down the same path that everyone else has fallen down with this curse. I mean, that's my opinion on that. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's at least how I feel about that scene.
Well, yeah, I think that's what we agreed on, is that once the hand gets shoved down her throat, there's game over. But
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, she's trapped in the house. You don't really know what her odds are of outrunning the effed up things going out of the apartment. But obviously, the whole Morris storyline like we were talking about, he obviously has to be real in that moment because if he's not, then this whole movie is just one big troll. I mean, if there's literally no, because until that point, when Joel dies, we were basically talking to each other like, well, our only hope of this movie advancing at all is her talking to Joel. Well, Joel gets run over by a truck.
Yeah.
So there goes our entire previous explanation. Because basically every time this thing takes someone over, you go back to square one. And when Joel dies, you're back to square one. And so it's very frustrating for the viewer that when you watch a whole movie where they're trying to figure out stuff, you get to this point, and then you're like, oh man, well now he'll be able to figure it out. Well, no, now he's hit by a truck, so then you go back to zero. But then the Morris character comes in, and this is where I was like, okay, you know, this is kind of a. Part of me thought it was too convenient. Like this character comes in, and even thinking about it now, part of me does think it's kind of too convenient that this character comes in with a perfect solution. Now, it's not a perfect solution, it's a very complicated,
It's a terrible
thing.
solution.
But it just seemed too convenient that this character came in and was like, I can figure it out. Part of me thought it was too convenient, but then part of me was like, well, there's got to be there has to be some, like, hope in this movie. There has to be the smallest shred of hope that there's a way to stop it. So from that moment where she sat down with him, I thought he was explaining it really well, but it would have helped a lot if you would have said, I tried to talk to this other person, they didn't listen, and then it's like his 10th time. That's something that really has me doubting whether he's real again. Because if you would have said, I tried to talk to Joel, he wouldn't listen, I tried to talk to this person, they wouldn't listen, and like, that would have been a little better if there was other people involved. But that was the most frustrating part to me is he presents an issue, you don't get to see it solved. But part of me still does think, at least if there's any resemblance of any kind of attempt to have a story in this movie, he was real, and then basically the second she walks out of there, and not the second she walks out of there, but she said something in motion there to where she gets back in the apartment and she can't get out. And I don't know why the apartment was where they had to trap her. Maybe if she was in the freaking open field, they wouldn't have. But then you still can't convince me it wouldn't have happened in the abandoned house. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't have happened in the abandoned Arby's or Pizza, whatever it is.
I do think there's two sides of the coin with that. There's two sides of the coin with that. Is for one, like there's no way to gradually have some solution or meet some person that knows what to do in this sense because like time just goes too fast. Like we only have 6 days at most, 7 days at most to overcome this. So you just can't have someone just randomly research this enough. Again, everyone starts at square one, not knowing what's going on. So the Joel character would have been the best case scenario of combating this thing and having someone believable since we followed him in the first one. And he has so much information on it. So the Morse character may seem way too convenient, but it needs to be in a way. There's different ways to do it. I'm just not thinking of a better way. I mean, Joel would have been the best way, but I don't know. I accepted it. Now, the things that give me pause, because again, I tend to believe Morris is real and had good intentions and would actually have maybe potentially done this right. But where I have pause is if he really was trying to help out, why send an ominous text to the person and not like to be like, I know who you are, or like were you at Lewis's house? Just say right away like, hey, were you at Lewis's house last night? I'm following this demon situation, or like people that have died and stuff like that. Like some other way. Don't say what I just said. There's a horrible way to frame it. Like something like that.
But yeah, that totally just.
So
that just makes us think
that feeds fuel to the fire of anyone that believes that he wasn't real. But I have to believe this because again, there's just no other way to overcome this thing right now that we've seen this so far through 2 films outside of Joel's way that no one else knows about. Now thinks he's dead. But yeah,
the only devil's advocate you play here is the first text was the day of. Maybe he thought, I'm gonna give her a day, see this effed up crap. And then text her again, and maybe she'll see it then.
Well, that's true.
Is that
how many days did this movie take place through? 3? Because when he says at the bars like you're running out of time, then maybe it was, but it's been 6 days. Because why would he say that? I mean, 3 days it was already halfway done.
Remember they say earlier that remember Joel said or someone said the chain. It could be 3. It could be
I didn't hear that.
It could be from 3-4 days or even a week. I think. Either the guy in jail or Joel or someone says it could be from like 3-4 days to a week. But yeah, the text thing, I mean, I guess he's lucky that she didn't just block his number. I mean, I feel like she probably would have just blocked the number right away. But I mean, if I saw that text and I was in that situation, I probably would have blocked the number.
At least that explains how he got her number, because that was what was really throwing me off. Was like how to get her number, but the fact that he was following Lewis, he went into his house, which is effed up.
But then-
got his phone, and that's how he got her number. Because there's no other way you get a celebrity's number, let alone
No, he
anyone's
definitely,
number.
he
That's how
definitely
you
just
got
got
it.
that phone in there.
And then you can believe that he hacked into the phone. You can do that. That's not
Yeah, it
impossible.
might even have been. Yeah, I know that's why I got the phone, but then
So
the
that-
whole thing about the text though is definitely confusing because why would you send one text? Yeah, the whole text thing just totally makes me think it's fake.
Well, you feel like you're running out of time, but this
But why
goes
do you
back.
wait to say that stuff?
I know that's stupid. I mean, Morris is a dumb character. And that's why this whole thing. Why did he save Joel? It's like he's dumb. He's not a very. From
And
what
then
we
do
see,
you,
he's
do you
very.
really think the smile
He's
demon?
effed up though. His brother died from a freaking crowbar.
But do you think the smile demon would really be? What would his benefit be to sending one text and then sending another one later? What would his benefit be?
What do you mean? The demon?
You think the demon would send one text like that
Yeah,
and
I mean,
then wait? Why would he do that?
The demon might be doing that just to give her the false hope, which is what she does. Or
Well, so-
it's what the demon does at the end, which is effed up. And why I hate this demon so much is because it gives you the false hope, like the first one. You think she burns it, it overcomes her trauma, and then she doesn't. And the same with this one. We'll get to that later.
Wait, so do you think he literally was like sitting there like, I'm gonna try the text scare, and then he's like, I'm not gonna try anymore.
No,
And then he
that's
like
why-
he randomly went back to
That's
try the
why.
text
Well,
scare.
for one, I don't believe that the demon was responsible for the text. Well, no, he was responsible for the text in the dream sequence or the altered reality scene when she's driving. But again, he's taking that from what Morris is doing in real life. In my
And the
opinion.
phone calls when she's sitting with Morris. What was up with those phone calls?
That was the demon.
She's getting like.
That was the demon trying to
So-
distract her.
So that would be a sign.
See,
that
again-
the demon was trying to get him out of it.
Exactly. No, that's my theory. Is the demon
That's a good
is
theory.
really very afraid of this plan.
Yeah.
And also, not only was the calls the demon, but the people noticing her was the demon too, getting people to just distract her and take away from the scene. So
That is a
again,
really good point.
Yeah,
The-
that's what I tend to believe at least. So we'll take that for what it was worth.
That's true. That's gotta be the demon. Because why would she get 3 different calls?
Yeah, she never answered me either.
That supports the theory that it
Yeah.
is.
So the demon was like blowing her up on the phone, trying to get her the f out of here,
Yeah.
which is really frustrating as the viewer. Because again, I'm not gonna get to that because I forgot a scene before I get into that. Before that, she has a dance rehearsal where she's coming out of this like shell, which is a foreshadowing at the end. And as she's dancing, Paul, her boyfriend who died in a car crash, jump scares her right in front of her in the scene. Looks like she breaks her leg in that gruesome look, and she's screaming, and you realize her leg's not broke. She storms out of there. As it snaps back into reality, and then I think before that she was told that she agreed to giving a speech to a disadvantaged kids or people group, and she gets there, and there's a fly flying around her. I wrote down, and I don't know if this symbolizes anything, but she basically
Why is there a fly?
she like went to like wipe her face and smeared lipstick over her face, which again I think the demon was just at this point trying to F with her reputation and her name just to continue to traumatize her more. She goes up on the stage, had some really funny lines, obviously not funny in the context of her character, but as a moviegoer was funny because the teleprompter stops scrolling, she has to go off the cuff, and eventually it starts going again, and I knew something was going to be really effed up here, and she says, now let's please give it up for Paul. It didn't say his last name, he had a last name in the movie, but Paul whatever it was it? Yeah, Paul Allen, something like that. Everyone gasps because they're like, isn't that your dead boyfriend or whatever? And then you see him smiling, and then special fact, this is Jack Nicholson's son, who has a creepy smile, just like his father did in The Shining, which is a cool horror connection there. He walks up there, easily the creepiest smile in the movie. Maybe, I'd say it's the creepiest smile in the movie. Maybe behind, right around that naked guy in the apartment. But he's super creepy. He walks up there. You're thinking something's about to effed up. You can see Sky Rise just breaking it emotionally, saying, "Stop smiling at me." She's just been going through this crap. And then he disappears. And I think she gets another text. So again, this is just showing how time stops for her. Because then she looks at her phone. She looks at her phone, Kenny, and is this going?
No, it is. The Smile Demon has 2 streams going.
But the
Smile Demon's on the other one.
But she's looking at her phone on stage, right? The video. Remember, this is where Morris says, this is a real one, I think. He's like, Lewis posted this on social media or online. She watches the video. It's a very creepy video.
Well, that was wait. She watched that on
I
stage.
think so. Because
No,
then she
she-
puts the phone down. And that's when the jump scare happens.
No, there's a jump scare there, but there's another jump scare. She's in her apartment
No.
watching a video.
But I'm sure. No, Kenny.
There's no way she would start watching the video on stage.
I know, but that's the whole thing. Remember, because before we were trying to look, and then we looked because there was
No,
nothing in the camera shot. And then she looks down, and then he pops up right next to her, and then she shoves the lady off
That's
the
a
stage.
different one.
Kenny, I
She,
think this
you
is,
can't because she.
no, because she gets a text at that point, and I think she's just so effed up seeing all this crap.
No, because
It is.
no, this Jake. She could have started watching that scene on stage while she's giving a speech.
I know for a fact.
There was a different jump scare. The
There was the
boyfriend
jump
was
scare.
here
Describe what happens.
I mean, Jake, are you like mad at me because I'm revealing the fact that that's
No,
not
I
right?
really
mean,
remember this, unless my reality's been
No,
altered.
because in the stage one, it's the boyfriend with his head punctured that jumps around. She throws the old lady. The other one where she's watching the video, she's somewhere else, and the drug guy appears with his effed up face. Because she's not on stage when she starts watching
We'll
the
have to
video.
check the tape on that
She-
one, buddy.
She has no, because remember because the guy Morris texts her and says, "I found this video," and you watch the video of
From where?
in the apartment, I think.
I think she's on stage.
No, because she watches the video because that jump scare is the drug guy because she's watching the drug guy filming and then the drug guy appears. The other one is the boyfriend. He pokes his head around and has a hole in his head.
We
and
gotta
she
check the
throws it
tape on
away.
that. I really don't know. I can't confirm it.
Because she was reading the speech on stage.
I know she was. I think that again, that's where she was so because she stops. She's staring at him walking up on stage, and then it stops. For some reason in my mind, that's when
They're similar.
That's
jump
when I
scares.
put the phone scenes. I wasn't looking for the black dark spot at the corner because I kept waiting for something to jump out there. Be seeing really effed up. And then when I put my guard down, and then I thought that's when she pops up or he pops up, Paul, and then she shoves the old lady. And I wrote down in my notes here that she has some major airtime going off the stage and like a table. I think use a stunt double for that.
Yeah, I think so.
But it is a really well executed scene. You see the people freaking out afterwards, saying like, "Can't believe we just put this on stage. I want to listen to this moment." But yeah, I said Sky pushing all the way out the stage, and it's the bad aftermath of the case of that situation. And what was this? I said Sky. That situation that for Sky to really question what the number is wanting. Oh yeah, and then so that's when she goes to the number again after. And that's when she meets him afterwards at the bar, which we already talked about that scene.
We might as well cover that scene where she's watching the phone since I don't know when it was. It doesn't really matter. It was just a creepy scene when she's watching a video of. I keep calling him the drug guy. I don't know what his name is. Hopefully, we don't get taken
Lewis.
down for using that word.
It's Lewis.
Lewis. We were watching the video and he's filming his house and he's losing his freaking mind. But he's literally actually filming, saying, "You gotta see this stuff." And he's like, "You see it over there? It just keeps staring at me." And at that point, he's seeing that that freaking the main drug lord, right? The guy that gets shot in the chest. Is that who he's seeing?
That's probably who Lewis is seeing, I think.
Yeah. So Lewis, and that's kind of terrifying to think he's seeing that freaking guy standing
Well,
over there.
potentially, but who knows what Lewis is traumatized by? That's the only thing that we would know. We don't know enough about him, but that's
Well,
the guess.
It's usually who the first person you see
What
is
she
usually the
would've
person
said.
that dies.
Well, he said something smiling, but he didn't say who.
Well, yeah, you know, they don't say who it is, but it's usually the person that dies. That the person.
Right, that's
sees
what I
them.
said. But like, did he say in the video?
Okay, Jake, can you just bear with me here? Okay, so the person that dies is usually the person they see, so he's probably seen that person.
Yeah, but my question was in the video. What did he say? He's like, this
he
thing.
doesn't.
He said
he
this
doesn't,
thing,
he
right?
doesn't say who it is.
But I know he doesn't say what it is, but he said this thing, right?
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't say he, she. I think he just calls
This
things.
thing's been following me and smiling. I
Yeah,
thought
he just says something's over there looking at me.
something
Yeah.
we gotta figure out. I still don't
I
know
mean,
what it is.
Jake, I don't care if it's a frog sitting over there. Okay, I mean.
I still don't know.
Yes, we don't know. That's why I said I think it's that person, Jay. I'm not writing this in a dictionary here.
I didn't
Crazy.
write that down, but
Okay, I know. We didn't write this down, but whoever it is standing over there, I'm pretty sure it's the guy he witnessed dying, because that's usually how this movie works. With the person you see die is the person you see. To imagine him standing over there is absolutely terrifying. I think it was the scariest scene in the movie, and there wasn't even a jump scare for that part. And you just see nothing, and I kept looking. I kind of looked away, and then I was trying to look even harder to see if I could see anything. I thought I saw the outline of a person standing there, but then I don't think you see anything. I really don't think you do. But then eventually there's a jump scare, and it got me really good because I was really trying to pay attention. And I'm pretty sure if I remember right, it's Lois's face poking around with his bloody face again. Pretty sure she's in that apartment somewhere. But that was probably the creepiest scene in the movie for me. Maybe not the scariest, but just the most well done scene. And it was something that really I was interested to see because we were talking about the video camera and how if you see it on the phone, I was thinking, okay, if you actually see it on the phone, that'd be a big deal. Because if you can see it on the phone, that changes everything. But the fact that you don't see it means the smile beam was just effing.
Again, we don't know because we both didn't look at that scene. That's why I'd love to go back and see it a second time just so I can fully look at every ounce on that screen because it's very, very possible that nothing was there. But I really, in my mind, want to have like two eyes in the corner. I just think.
I thought I saw the outline.
I think that'd be cool. That would also be big news, like you said, of exposing this thing and potentially being able to fight back. But there probably isn't anything there. I did not get a good look at it, so I can't say either way. But
I thought I saw the outline of the head, but then the more I looked, there's no way it was that.
I would go back just for that scene, which I'm really contemplating doing, just so I can see that scene again.
Because that would change everything if you can actually see it on film.
Like I said, I'm gonna go to the front row and stand out on the theater, just like stand there and get a perfect video of the shot. But
yeah, then you'd blown back.
I would say, yeah, I better sit down before the jump scare. When she meets Morris at the bar, she takes a photo of him, and this is the scene a moment that I wrote down and want to talk about. I already said it, but she took a picture of Morris. I want to see this photo on her phone to confirm whether or not Morris is alive. This is the one time I think she actually met Morris for real. Even though I'll say one thing about when they're at the closed down Donato, or not Donato, it was freaking Pizza Hut. Whatever, some pizza place, and I think that if I think he's in the picture, but if he's not, that would say a lot. But you just never see it. So this is where I love to sit down with the director and confirm some of this stuff because this is some important information.
Yeah, but they better not pull a third one where they find her phone and the detective's going through it, and you see a picture of an empty booth. I might throw my.
If they do though, that would at least give us an answer.
Yeah, that he wasn't real though.
Yeah, but that would really be that would at least give some closure. It would definitely piss me off, but I mean it would definitely
because it would mean there's no solution.
No, it wouldn't mean that. It would just mean that solution's bogus, which sucks.
And that's the only.
Which I think is a bogus solution, to be honest.
Yeah, but that also means that you're just screwed from this thing. You have no chance.
No,
because that solution needs to be real. At least you have to see it play out.
No, I agree. I wanted to see it play out too, but I think it's a bogus solution in the first place because that's just not how I want to take this thing out, in my opinion. Yeah, sure, it's a way, but that's not how I want to take this demon out. This demon deserves to be shredded in some way, which again, I obviously can't come up with it, but I also didn't know that plan coming into this movie, so there's something they can come up with.
Well, if you jump in the middle of the ocean, if you tie weights to your ankles and jump in the middle of the ocean, are you good? Or you're not good. You're going to die.
Not good.
No, you're going to die, but it's effed, right? There's nothing you can do. Unless you can possess a fish down in the ocean.
Well, exactly, but there has to be another way besides killing yourself in the middle of nowhere.
Well, the only way we really have is you have to kill a bad
person. That's what I'm saying. Like,
find another person.
That's why
send them to the bottom.
I'm so intrigued. Well, that plan's obviously true because it showed at the beginning it works, but I just don't know they're just not gonna go that route. Maybe they will, but I don't think they will. The thing about it is like
try to possess a fish.
That's why I'm so intrigued because I want to have this third film come out and be like. I want them to come up with some idea that I'm like, holy crap, that's a great idea. Like,
why did I never think about that? And then you don't.
I was interested, but I just didn't have much hope. Like, I was like, even as a viewer, I'm like, okay, like this could work maybe, but we'll see what happens.
It was a little.
At this point, it's like a trial and error. Like, let's just try it. It's a method.
Well, yeah, the whole idea of it though was a little weird because how are you supposed to be? Would you like to be the one that you're not only potentially killing someone, but once this thing doesn't have her, you think it's just gonna disappear? I mean, it could probably go to you.
Yeah.
Because you're experiencing her dying.
Yeah.
So
I definitely want to be the one in the room. That's the only thing about it is when that scene. I haven't got there yet, but we're about to. When she goes into that thing and lays down on the table in the freezer room, when he said like this door can't close or else it'll be stuck forever, like you and I both looked at each other like, great, this means she's gonna get stuck in here, some bullcrap's gonna happen. But in one way, when he left the room, I even said out loud, like, what the F is he doing? Where is he going? This
Why
whole
would he
plan.
left the room?
But the only thing about it, I was like kind of holding out hope was he's leaving the room because what you just said, when she does die, it would attach to him. So maybe when she dies, give it time to just disintegrate, which is totally all in theory, and then he comes back in and takes her frozen body and resuscitates her outside of it or something. Maybe.
Yeah, no,
That's the only reason I thought of that. But then again, that whole scene is fake because it's all been altered. It's not even real.
No, but you know what? This is the messed up thing is that the fact that he created all this makes you not believe it. But here's my theory now. So you inject her in the neck, right? To make her die
Yeah.
temporarily. So you inject her, he leaves, shuts it to where she can't get out. And then he mentioned, remember,
9
like, with
minutes.
the cold air, it gives you
9 minutes.
9 minutes, which is kind of a lot actually to be dead.
Yeah.
He leaves, and so he's hoping in 8 minutes of it just being in there alone that something happens. But I think it would have been a really cool scene if that actually would have played out. He leaves, but then he comes back in and he sees the effed up thing just standing there. That would have been pretty scary.
That could have been for sure.
That would have been crazy.
But
But
instead, they go a different route.
But that would have been an interesting way of she's dead for 8 minutes. What would it have done? I mean, I feel like it would just still be there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't think the movie wanted to answer that question. That had to be the
No.
theory, right?
That's a problem too.
I think that's what he was trying to do, though, right? He was gonna trap her in there,
Well, no,
and then,
that's
then
the
go back in
problem.
and
That's the
resuscitate
problem.
her.
The problem with that is that might have been what he wanted to do, but the problem is that whole scene when he's there with her and that whole effort of saving it is bull crap.
No, I know it's fake.
But that's the thing. Is like, so
it's
that's my
kinda-
point. Is like it's bullcrap because none of it's real. It's all been altered. It's all been faked and like put in this show by the demon. So none of that stuff can be believed. Even though it's so weird that
How would
the
he
demon would. Well, the demon clearly knew that was going to work because he was using. The demon might have been so dumb that even though he knew he was going to kill Sky Riley, the audience now sees. I know he's not. Obviously knows it's a freaking movie, but like the audience sees that he's showing how this would work. I think he's literally laying out how this works. But obviously, no one.
breaking the third.
But the
fourth
problem,
wall.
well, no, obviously he's not. But like for the viewer, he really is because this would have worked. Now, no one else knows this plan. Well, Morris might know this plan, even though we don't know what he would actually have done. Because when she leaves that bar, she never truly connects with him again, which sucks. Because, like I said, this gets into when she goes back home. She destroys her bathroom, a really nice bathroom. Some drugs on the floor. She takes a pill, which I think that symbolizes that she's mentally just going back into the bad area. And this is actually kind of signals and symbolizes her end because she gets up, she walks in the hallway, and for some reason this has been growing more and more scary to me. This whole sequence with the dancing people coming in the room, or like choreographers, something about it, just like to me coming into the original
Before you
Smile.
know that, I just want to make one more comment about my last comment about the scene at the end is like the thing that frustrates me about it is I feel like them presenting that whole scenario is just the movie teasing you and just effing with you like, oh, here's a way that could have worked, but it's not going to. That's the only purpose of it, in my opinion.
Well, yeah,
It's
clearly,
literally just to say,
it clearly was messing with the viewer and Sky, but I think it would have actually worked had it been a real world.
because like, why would the demon? How would the demon have known about that setup, and why? I know why he would have, but
Well,
how would he have known what that setup looked like? It's literally just the movie saying, just effing with you. This could have worked, but we're not going to let it work because we just want you to watch the main character suffer in this movie.
I think, well, that definitely is true, but I think it also heard what Morris said, and he just kind of took that and made up his own reality of what that would have looked like. I think Morris's plan would have been a lot cleaner of a situation.
Not in a band.
It might have been, but I think that was just the Smile Demon. Just he heard the plan and he's like, "That's a damn good plan. That would actually work." So I'm gonna f around and create my own fake realities to make it look like it would work and just mess with them even more. But again, this is all theories. This is like none of it's confirmed. This is what we believe. But after that, she gets back to her apartment, destroys the bathroom, takes the pill off the floor, and she's basically done at this point. And we don't know it yet until after the movie's over. She goes out, she like walks in the hallway, sees like a bunch of people standing there. I was gonna say before, this on paper sounds so dumb, and like even the first one, like it's people smiling, this is really gonna be scary. But for some reason, they do it so well in both these films that it really is scary. Like them all standing there not moving is so creepy. And then she turns around, and I forget what video game this is, but there's a couple video games I've seen online where, as the game player, every time you turn away, the character gets closer to you. She turns around, they're all standing there, and then she tries to run. They all move through the hallway, the glass hallway, and then staying in that room, they're all around there like staring at her, and it's really frustrating again because you want this character to survive. Because I think if she could have got out of this apartment, she might have been able to run back to Morris at this point, but I don't think she was really contemplating that at all. Maybe she was more because she saw that, but basically they push the door closed, they pull her back, and it's kind of messed up. They pull her hair out a little bit, they are throwing her around, hit her head against something, and then one of them, I don't think it really matters which one, it was really just symbolizing that the demon is fully taking ownership of her, made really epic. It already was altering her reality, but this, when the hand goes into her mouth, it was disgusting, and like the arms going in the mouth, and at that point, it's almost like, I'm trying to think of another movie where when a demon possesses you, like that just symbolized, I think it just symbolized it was fully possessing her to the point where not only was they able to alter her reality from the rest of this movie on, but it altered her reality the rest of the movie on to the point where her normal self was still doing things clearly up until when she was on stage for this concert. And that's where I have a complaint, because it's like, how much was going on off screen? Like, as a viewer, you have to see what's going on. You can't just, that's where you can get into the cop out. Like, this whole sequence of her at the psychiatric ward, driving to this abandoned place, talking with Morris, the plan, fighting the demon, all this stuff. Like, this is all happening on screen for us. But in reality, real reality, she's been doing stuff clearly well enough to get herself on stage. She's on stage, her mom's still there, which we're about to get into that. And, like, that's my complaint. Like, it's a cop-out because, as the viewer, you don't know what happened there. That's a lot of just, oh, okay, like, this is all fake, but what happened in reality? Like, what was she doing? Because can she be living in a fake reality, but then also living for real without the demon possessing her?
Yeah, that's the big question. Is like, was she just like a kind of mindless zombie walking through? Because obviously, in the fake world, she wakes up in the hospital, she drives, she goes to the Pizza Hut. But then in the real world, what's really happening, she's, I guess, just going through the motions, getting ready for the concert. She walks out, and then she finally comes back at that point.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Again, once she went back to the apartment, looking back on it, she officially lost when they shut her in there and fully possessed her. And this is one thing I put down was the demon, the smile demon, basically fast tracked. Now, I mean, you said before, someone said it can be 3 or 4 days. So maybe it didn't necessarily fast track it that much. I think it definitely did, because it would take a full week. Demon was like, I'm fast tracking my quota.
Maybe
we're getting it done now. We're
maybe
going to
it's
go full
shorter
in
times.
balls deep right now. Who?
Maybe the reasons it's shorter for some people is because they start figuring it out.
That's for sure. That'd be a good theory.
But then again, Rose was starting to figure it out.
Yeah, she lasted a decent amount of time.
She didn't really have an idea that would beat it though. She was just.
That's true. She just learned more about it. She never really had a plan.
She never had a plan.
Her plan was not a good plan. It was just gonna go to drive to some empty place, which is a fine plan to, I guess, stay alive, but you're gonna be living there effed up, being tortured the rest of your life. And so that's not a good plan. That's not a good plan. But then after that, this gets into the dream world, the fake world, where she wakes up in a psychiatric ward, and the mom's standing there being super annoying. And now, to her credit, she's not actually there in this situation, so I can't get on her too much. Now, I think it's not too far away from what she would have said in real life. I mean, she was basically saying all this stuff without saying it, by saying, like, you've been so selfish, and you're only thinking about yourself, and it's like, do you hear yourself, lady? Like, you're being selfish. You're not thinking about your daughter's health. Like, by saying, like, oh, we've branched off a day for you to take some mental health. Like, she should have had a year off from all this crap. Like, just because you're trying to get some quick money.
Yeah, that's obviously the demon.
I know, but she was essentially saying all of that before this scene without actually saying it. At least that's just my opinion. She was really annoying. But the mom eventually, you hear her voice shift to almost like the therapist in the first Smile, and she's like, her voice sounds all effed up. This must be the demon's actual voice or something more close to it. And she breaks glass, and you see her stab herself a bunch of times, which is disgusting. And then Sky Riley gets up, rips stuff out of her veins because she was in like on a hospital bed in the psychiatric ward. She runs to the door, and then she's holding the glass, and it's like, holy crap, did she just kill her mom supposedly without her knowing? At this point, like, I mean, what more can you do to this character? She's done so much, gone through so much crap. I mean, this character's just gonna break, which is what the goal is of the demon. So at least at the very end, you get that reveal that the mom's still alive, so she never actually did that. So I guess in some ways, she got some peace to know she didn't kill her mom. I mean, that's a dark situation she's already in, but
I guess.
that would be a little bright spot. It's just weird to think that the demon kept her alive, but basically,
she even sees at that point.
yeah. And I thought they were gonna do a creepy scene with that. She covers her up with a blanket, and I thought there was gonna be a scene where she's like lying around with a blanket on or something.
Yeah.
Really, I thought they don't do anything
It's
about it.
not even a set of spirit there.
The demon's like, I've done a lot of crap. I guess I don't have time. I don't have any plans to do a
You have
blanket
time to
sequence.
shoehorn that into the plan.
But the demon at this point, we're like, you're giving me too much material to use here, man. I got too many things. Like, I already have Gemma standing outside right now. I can't do anything else.
And that's the whole theory with the more trauma, I think makes you more powerful, but I'll get into that for the
No,
final
yeah.
reveal.
I've heard that from a few people saying the demon definitely feeds off trauma. That's 100% what he does. But then she gets outside the room after not letting the one helper in with the drinks. She tries to sneak out of this place, and then I can't think of his name. His name wasn't listed on the cast, but he spots her out in the lobby after he was getting a drink for her, and he's like, "Scott, are you okay?" And then calls everyone to come over. She takes a gun from the security guard, breaks out of this fake reality, gets outside, and this is an unnecessary scene. She steps on glass. We didn't need to see that. That was just add insult to injury. Really, really realistic. It didn't look bad, but it looked disgusting. She's pulling glass out of her foot in the car. Gemma's there, which is very convenient because, again, it's not real in this situation. She gets in the car. Gemma's driving. They manage to escape the city without getting caught by the police somehow. And as they're driving, she gets a phone call from Gemma, which now my theory is the Gemma calling and the Gemma driving are both fake. That's my theory.
It better be.
That's my
It
theory.
better be true, because if it's not, then the whole movie is fake. Like,
Now again, I'm almost arguing against myself. It's like that Skip Bayless video when he's arguing against himself with the same topic. But my argument to that is, if I was arguing against myself, is when Gemma's in the apartment and the mom walks in, she does say, "What's up, Elizabeth?" because that's her mom's name. And the mom doesn't. You never hear what she says. So you could argue and say she never saw her.
so just that scene is fake. But then if you're saying she's fake there, then you're probably saying Morris is fake too. So
Who?
that's where
Yeah, exactly.
that's where it just.
And I'm not giving the demon this much credit.
But still, see, to say that she's in the car and on the phone is so far fetched, though.
No, it's not.
You really think the movie would do that?
100%. Because you know why? Because the demon's literally.
He's done that trick so many times. And you think
Well, he's done it a
doing
million times, but he's doing this to basically break Sky even more by basically saying
That's like the
By
thing
telling-
Mission Impossible for
I
the
know.
quadruple.
it's a lot. It's a lot, but the reason why he's doing it is because he's literally trying to break Sky to the point where she thought she at least rekindled her friendship with Gemma and got over that. And by hearing that phone call, by saying she never actually met her, that just breaks her even more to think that she wasn't there. But I'm believing that she was there, and that stuff was real initially. But ever since, like I said, when the hand went in her mouth, this whole afterlife situation with a fake reality is not real.
Well, that's true
So-
because she does mention at the end that he says, "Why do you want to do this now?" And she says, "I have nothing left to lose." So yeah,
Now
she didn't take her
That's
mom out of the
actually just
equation.
about, yeah.
She didn't take the friend out of the equation. She didn't take.
But you
she
know,
didn't take the other person out of the equation.
no,
but-
but I'm
basically-
actually going to make a comment on what you just said there about what changed your mind. But before I say that, it's like if he can create Gemma in real life, how can he not create her on a phone call too at the same time? That's not.
Well, no, it's
and-
definitely possible
and
to do that.
That's not even real either. Like the whole situation's not real. So that's where it's even more believable that he could be both. Because this whole world that you're seeing on screen after that point of the hand.
Smelling is
It's
getting a
fake.
little bit. He's getting a lot out of control.
It's a lot. It's a little way too overpowered. But then that's my actually biggest complaint is she eventually, it looks like she kind of overcomes something to the point where she realizes she's driving, gets flipped off by people,
Yeah,
but then she
what's the point
parks.
of it?
But she's driving, she gets this fake place, which again, she never was, like, again, it's all fake.
Just pees me
But
off.
she gets there, and then that's my only question is, Morris saying, what made you change your mind? To me, I wrote this down. Like, him saying that is so authentic. It almost makes you think, like, that's not, why would the demon say something like that? Like, I guess maybe just to play out the character so well, but that's such a real comment that you would think he would say, you know? So, I know it's not real, but that is such a real thing that he would say. That's my only thing about that whole scene is like that's something that the real character would say in that moment. Maybe the demon's just being that effed up that he's making it seem believable for her. Because I just again, that's the limitation crap. Because he's too overpowered. I mean, she gets there without shoes on. It's like the Home Alone scene. He's like, why are you barefoot? Like, why are you not wearing any shoes? He's like, let's just get in here and do this crap.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I just wonder about how much effort was put into this movie because I'm starting to think like
We're probably overthinking.
I'm trying to I'm thinking maybe we're just like connecting these things and the movie is completely not trying to do this stuff.
Well, they clearly
I'd
don't
like to
care
think-
too much. But
I'd like to see some interview where the director actually says these things are true, but I just have a feeling this movie did not think this far into it in
No.
VR. Which
I
would be very sad.
No. I think obviously the movie's done really well. Both of them have done extremely well with how they've been made. This next one was also a fan service from the beginning with the whole sequence there. But I would love to hear the director and hear the writers watch this whole 90-minute video live stream and give their thoughts and say how much of what we've said is just not even what they discussed.
Yeah, literally, like, they didn't even
But I would
think
love to
about
hear. I would love to see like, hey, you guys are on the right track. And a lot of what you said is true, or they'd be like, you guys are just in the dream world here. But
And they're like, yeah, we did not think about that for once.
But
No,
maybe,
that's
maybe
true.
they'll watch it. Because I mean, how many spoiler sessions are going to be on YouTube about this movie? Probably not that many.
Yeah.
Maybe we could be inspiring the third film with this stream.
Yeah,
They might be watching it.
Yeah, if you're
If they do,
watching,
give us a shout out or some kind of a, I don't know, throw something in there with movie mania or just maybe put us in there somewhere. I don't know.
if you're watching, make
Me
sure
next.
you get some answers, your questions answered.
If we do need some answers, email us at one of our emails.
Then we go into like the final scene.
Yeah,
and
we're here. I just want to make a comment on the Morris character making that comment about what made you change your mind. That's such a again. I just don't. That's such a believable one. That's super frustrating because again, as a viewer, you're like, damn, this is real. Because he would say that, like he actually cares. But then it's effed up.
And he's like, hang on, let me get a pizza.
Yeah, he's like, hang on, let me get a flare. It's too dark in here. He leaves the room, and then you see blood dripping on her, and she
Yeah,
looks
it's
up. And
still
now this is one of the scariest. I know I've said a few times, it's the scariest thing in the movie. But this whole sequence with, again, for some, it didn't even look like her. But I guess it's because she was so effed up from the car crash.
Yeah, I
her
thought it was
broken
someone
leg-
else at first. And
Her
I
face
realized
looked
it was
weird.
her.
The hair is different, but she looks so different. Now, obviously, when
This scene was
when her
very
eyes
scary.
are changed, obviously it doesn't look like her at all. But
Her eyes changed.
remember how freaking effed up her eyes were?
I looked away. at certain
You gotta
scenes.
see that because
No, 'cause
her
I-
eyes don't change until
this
the
scene-
very end.
This scene for me was like, it was a little too disturbing, and I was like,
Because she's
kinda-
crying in the
yeah,
scene where
something
she
about this
falls.
scene was just like too disturbing for me.
It's
I
really
had to look
disturbing.
away because I was like, this is just too
Well,
much.
okay then.
But
I
it was
looked-
very scary.
Yeah,
This
I
is
actually looked at this whole scene, and she falls down on her.
I looked away when she started biting her finger.
Yeah, so-
that's right.
Okay, so she gets her on the ground. She's like on her hips, and she has her thumbs in her mouth, and you think she's gonna like pull her mouth open, but then Sky bites her thumbs off, and she's already bleeding. And again, the character that the demon's playing is herself in the car crash with the longer black hair, and she's super creepy. She's like screaming in pain. You think she's overcoming crap. She grabs the syringe. She injects herself with it, and the demon screams like in agony, like she just actually took care of this. And then, of course, the demon starts to smile, and this is at the point where her eyes, I believe, this is when her eyes shift. They could have shifted before, but her eyes go to the eyes of the demon itself, and they are so wide and just like bulging out of her head. Did you see that at all?
I don't think so.
Really crap. Like these are the eyes. When I was saying before that video from Lewis, I want to see those two eyes like on some creepy
There's
guy
no
in the
way.
corner.
I
No,
don't
no,
see that.
but the eyes in this scene
It
are
might
so creepy because it's just alluding to what you're about to see on the stage. Because then she says, because again, she kept saying, I'm in control, which she should have been. But the demon Sky says, I've been in control the whole time. You don't run crap. And then she says, break your leg out there. This is your big day. And then things go black. And then she goes back to actual reality.
But
She's
that
on
last
stage.
comment about that scene is like, I literally turned to you in that scene, and I literally said all my theories about. I'm like, there's no one else in the room. So I was so confident that she was gonna be there. I was like, I was literally telling myself, I was telling you, I was saying, there's no one else in there that she can't do anything. The thing can't do anything. She's all alone.
Yeah.
And I was literally saying that out loud. I was so confident. I was hoping it was gonna be the FU moment to the demon because I was like, you can't do anything because there's no one
Yeah.
to pass it on to, and she was actually gonna beat it or at least have the Doctor Strange Dormammu moment
Yeah.
where you can kill me a million times.
Here to bargain.
Like seriously, I thought that was gonna be that scene.
Yeah.
She's like, you can't do anything. There's no one to pass on to. But then we end up on stage.
Yeah, that was a really creepy scene, really executed well. But yeah, the problem there with that is like just like you just said, as the viewer, I was timing it on my phone, which I do for a lot of movies. I time the movie to see when it's over, which movies I always do that just to keep track. And I kept looking at my timer. I'm like, we still got like 10 minutes, or we have time to freaking finish this. But as things kept happening, like I started. I don't know if you can remember, but I lowered my recliner back down. So like, this is bullcrap. I need to lock in here. We're running out of time. It's like the freaking final minute of the game, and we're down here. We're definitely losing at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, we gotta do something. And then they showed they're on stage. The thing opens up. She's wearing the dress that she didn't want to wear in the first place. It shows her scar, and she looks around, sees her mom in the stands. It shows she's still alive. So that's at least one positive. But then she sees herself standing there. And at this point, this is what you were kind of thinking. I was really hoping, like, okay, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna snap her out of this. She's going to be resuscitated. Something's going to happen. Like something's going to really happen here. And then the second that you saw she rips the dress open to show her stomach. Then she rips the scar open. And at this point, I kind of looked away for a second because I didn't want to see guts fly out. But then you see the freaking hands of this thing come out. This big elaborate showdown. And then once the bass started dropping, I'm like, gosh, effing dang it, this is going to end like this. And I was already assuming that they're going to do what they did. And she crawls into the mouth of Sky and symbolizing that she's now been possessed fully. She stands up, grabs the effing microphone, and proceeds to stab it into her eye, killing herself deleting herself in front of the entire crowd of thousands and thousands of people, basically infecting everyone watching from traumatizing them.
Well, we'll
and
get
that's how
that
it ends.
because I still don't know that's true, but the shot of it coming out and like standing up, that thing is freaking massive.
It was definitely bigger than this one.
Like I kind of looked away when she was pulling her stomach up because I was like, great, there's gonna be some disgusting scene.
Yeah.
But then the arms come out, and the thing, once again, I don't know whether they use practical effects for this again too. I think they could.
They had to have. Well, yeah, for sure.
The thing was freaking massive, and that's where my theory came in. Like, the more trauma you have, the bigger the thing is, I guess. But then the final scene. So I've seen from multiple channels that, not that they're official and that they're creators of the movie, but the main question is, I still thought at the end it would just take one person because that's just the way it works.
Right.
But after watching videos on YouTube, I'm starting to think if it really takes everyone in there, that's ridiculous.
I mean, it's definitely a thought that has crossed your mind because everyone's watching and everyone seems traumatized. Like everybody, everyone watches, which is kind of ridiculous. But then they all scream, showing when the thing goes in her eye. Because surprisingly, how gruesome this movie is, you don't see her actually do it, which is a cool artistic shot. Is then it shows her laying on the stage with the freaking microphone just in her eye, which is kind of a weird way to go out. Which is obviously a weird way to go out, but like, in the context of all the things they could have done there, that's what he chose. It's kind of an anticlimactic scene there with the demon, if you ask me.
It seems like the most difficult way to lead yourself.
Yeah, the demon was like, the demon at that point was like, holy crap, I didn't think this through. Like, what can I do with myself up here on the stage?
It was like a singer dying into a microphone. That'd be genius.
The demon needs to have someone like calling out, like, okay.
I think that does it.
Strike fear, and everyone sees what happens. But again, I wrote down here like, again, like what was her real self doing that whole time to get her on that stage? That's a question that you don't know. It's just frustrating. You just don't know what's going on. To think, but again, you had to at least assume the demon was acting as her and doing it well enough to get her on stage for tour. I mean, she's not about to go live, so clearly she was doing well enough.
The only thing I can assume is she was kind of just going through the motions.
Robotically,
like,
maybe.
And then everyone was. I mean, what are you gonna do if she's just going through the motions? You can't prevent her from going on stage.
Which I guess she was already doing towards the beginning. I guess when she's in her robotic celebrity self form.
Yeah.
But
So maybe they're just
But yeah, it ends like that. It basically just ends like that. And again, not only does it end like that, by kicking the gut, but you also hear her crying again in the car, which again just was a brutal thing to hear. Just if it's just a car accident alone, it's brutal to hear someone crying and it's not alone like that. But then you throw in the fact that she's just been murdered, by this thing and tortured and all this stuff. It used to feel awful. Like they even had boss music to the cry, which is ridiculous. I'm like, you don't need this, guys. Like you just torture us as a fan
Yeah, what
base.
is the point of the crying in the credits? I really don't understand that.
Just to
What's the
further
point?
say, like, after you guys were hoping she'd survive. That's why I was
I
like,
don't
F
understand
this demon and F the movie in some ways. They're not giving 9 out of 10.
Well, that's just trying to. I don't even know what it could be. I don't know
I
why.
have a theory on that. I
Maybe
couldn't
they
come
ran
up
out of
with
music, so they decided to do that instead of
No,
music.
they had a lot of music to use. And they even had the audacity to use Sky Riley's own music at the very end. They just freaking did her in dirty at the end. But they definitely are alluding to a third one, without a doubt. I haven't looked up yet. It's been doing good on the box
I don't
office.
know what's going.
Let me know. I'm hoping it does well. What's the budget? I'm sure it's a little more of a. Rightfully so. They should have given it more of a budget after how the first one did. But hopefully it's doing really well. Because I want to see a third one, and a fourth, and a fifth.
Smile Killer at the box office.
As long as it makes more than.
3 million debut.
How much is the? I mean, how much was the budget?
Carved out 23 million opening weekend.
See, Smile 2 budget.
Open 22 million. Became a sleeper hit with 105 million.
How much did it make?
The first one. It cost 28 million, so it's already almost made its
And it
budget.
made 23 opening weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So I need to
So
see
it's
it one
gonna-
more time.
It's definitely gonna make its budget.
See it one more time. I'm not giving it 2 more times, one more time. You warm in it. But
Just enough to get a seat.
I did list off one thing I said here. I'm done covering the movie. I'm just going my final bullet points. The demon seems to see everything and not miss a moment, always attached, searching for every single ounce of trauma which it feeds off of, which is what I mentioned earlier with the dress.
26 million globally. Oh, yeah.
Holy cow, no, we're good. We're good. But
It was just a mess.
But I already mentioned that before when I said the fact that the demon's constantly attached to you, hearing everything, every little thing that happens after you're attached to it, it hears and takes notes on it, you know? So I already mentioned that. And I did list this because we were saying how you feel awful for this character, Sky Riley, and we're not just saying that. This is just the trauma that I wrote down. You got a drug addiction, you have the social media coverage of being a celebrity and her whole fallout with the boyfriend, killing Paul, the boyfriend in the car
The
crash,
boyfriend.
killing her mom supposedly. Obviously, it didn't happen for real. It's still a traumatizing moment in her mind, 100%. Probably the most traumatizing out of all, to be honest.
Yeah.
Telling off her friend, ruining their friendship, then finding out that you didn't overcome that. Yoda looks weird, overwhelmed with being a celebrity, just said. The meet and greet creep that attacks her, the stomach scar, and her not wanting people to see that. Seeing her friend kill himself with a weight, seeing her friend delete himself with a weight plate, brutally, beyond brutally. Her mom not caring about her as much, just the torrid money is a thought in her mind. She says it in that scene. Her hair, which again, she constantly is pulling it out in a disgusting way to me, and drinking tons of water. I did write down no dad, question mark. That was never mentioned. I guess maybe you can assume that the celebrity life caused, the mom does say in the fake world that I gave everything for you, so maybe she gave the relationship for that, to take on the lead of drawing that, but that's only covered. And then, yeah, I guess additional question I could just ask for both of us to answer was, we don't know the demon's name, we don't know the demon's origins. Do you hope to see that in the third one?
Yeah.
Right. I wrote down, was Morris real? The plan to stop the heartbeat, we talked about that. Was Gemma real? We talked about. I think she was originally, and same with Morris. And yeah, that was really it. We covered a lot. I think we basically covered everything.
Yeah, so we covered everything. We were streaming for 2 hours. I think we covered everything.
2 hours.
Close to 2 hours. I mean, after the technical difficulties. But
the demon's not gonna be happy with what we've covered here. We're covering everything, every little ounce of to get out of this.
yeah, just no smile, Damon. You're not getting out of this one. And your replacement in Monster Madness is horse crap. So
You're gonna be taken down by Bob, opening round. You heard it here first, guys.
no, but
They can have it just constantly scroll back. We'll put if there's 10 loops or like 10 sections, we'll make all 10 Bob.
you see his placement right now is being
You better be against Bob, man.
his placement right now is
Is he against Bob?
he's against Freddy Krueger in
Kenny.
the first round. I'm not rigging it, Jay. I'm doing. I spun the
Oh
wheel.
my gosh!
Jay, you think I was gonna rig it just because?
Just for this
I
thing.
want it to be a freaking fun thing. But I don't know what's
is.
gonna happen. I'm not gonna rig it on purpose.
Just for one match.
That's rigging it.
For one match.
Yeah, that's rigging it.
Kenny, it's literally you always need to switch two things.
You want me to spin a million times though?
What do you mean?
You said keep spinning until he loses.
No, just put all 10 sections as him, as Bob.
That's Are you that not rigging it?
Kenny, my point is he rigged the movie, so he has to feel the rigging in real life.
Well, he has to deal with Freddie in the first round, maybe Bob in the second
I'm
round.
saying right now, if he wins this
Bob
whole
might
thing, we're
win
not
this
going to be
game.
a part of next year's Halloween Madness.
Okay, Jake.
I'm going to go on strike. I mean, unless you want him to win, maybe you're a small supporter.
I don't want him to win. I mean, do you like Ellie from Evil Dead when she bites a person's eyeball out? I mean,
At least she's honest.
do you like Longlegs?
At least
he's like waving his hands around.
Was she defeated? Actually, let's go down the list. Defeated? Yes.
The trap guy, you like him?
Defeated? Yeah, I like him a lot, actually. I mean, all these guys have been defeated. Name one person that's not
Yeah,
been
we
defeated.
should talk
Actually,
about that for live.
no. Seriously, name one of these characters that's not been defeated. Unfortunately, he's been
The
defeated.
Ram hasn't been defeated.
Are you out of your mind?
When was he defeated? Let's show this on the
A million times. But anyways, guys,
The Ram wasn't. He won with the girl.
one win, but then he gets put into a freaking vase.
I mean, he's still alive.
I mean, the one movie can Annabelle
The
creation.
Thing
Sorry,
isn't defeated.
Annabelle comes home. He has everything at his disposal.
Oh,
and
wait,
somehow
no,
he can come back
Sinister
with
isn't
kids.
defeated and the Thing isn't defeated. The Thing survives.
Okay, but
But it's
at least there's a comeback way to fight him. I mean, Sinister, I don't know how, but that top left
The
for sure.
chances he wins are very slim.
I mean, the top left for sure.
But yeah, the Halloween Madness will be coming soon. Jake may or may not be present for it, but really appreciate everyone that joined this stream.
Yeah, guys.
If you don't want to join this and watch it, and if there's some diehard Smile fans that want to come back and watch this video,
I know. Hopefully,
yeah,
I was hoping. I was
Is it an hour and 6 minutes? I think you'd be right.
no 108 minutes.
106. Okay,
But the problem is, guys. Okay, not the problem. Hopefully, we'll get some Smile diehard fans to check out this stream because we want your feedback. I've been doing a lot of reading in the Reddit subreddits, which is a great space to find people that are thinking the same things you are, just discussing it. I learned a lot of what I just said here today from some of those theories I was reading on there. So I definitely would recommend to check that out. But yeah, guys, for sure, if you're in here, let us know what we covered, what you agree with, what you totally disagree with. Was there stuff we didn't talk about? Because again, I'm open, I'm all ears to potential strategies and how to take it out. Because I really didn't list many alternatives. Maybe we'll do a second stream one day before the third one comes out, talking about what are some ways they can maybe combat it. But yeah, hopefully the third one comes out and it's made very similar to these two as far as quality in the acting. I want that to be the same, but as far as storyline goes, we need some answers. We need some answers, and we need some level of fight back. That is 100% necessary, because I'm not about to do that again and give it a 9 or more. It's got to be, again, if it's done that well, then maybe, but we need some answers.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to the fans. People want someone to root for. People even said in the first one, the whole message behind it. You need to have some way to fight it and some solutions and answers.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching our spoilers discussion of Smile 2. Definitely was a classic film. Check it out if you're 18 or older. But yeah, thanks for sticking through this video. Get ready for Mini Monster Madness Halloween 2024 edition coming out soon. Where hopefully the Smile Demon is put the shreds early on. But yeah, thanks for watching.
Look forward to some Halloween reviews.
And honestly,
soon.
hopefully this character has a good round. I think he had a Final Four run last year that ended short. So we're going for final. We're trying to get a Final Four, and it won't be easy.
Yeah. Look forward to a couple more Halloween reviews and Monster Madness on Halloween Day.
Yep.
Where Michael may get his redemption.
Right, because we're basically 10 days from Halloween.
And he's facing off with a Ram in the first round.
But I like both those characters, but obviously I gotta go with my boy Michael in the first round. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. 10 days from Halloween. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.